All that ahead, but first, more than 350,000 Singaporeans have appointed someone to act on their behalf in the event they lose mental capacity. Now, this is since the Office of Public Guardian was set up in 2010. The lasting power of attorney is one tool to plan better for old age amid a push to make legacy planning more accessible for all. Oliver Amshah reports.
As Singapore inches closer to becoming a super-aged society, the need to plan for old age is more crucial. Efforts at such pre-planning include community outreach. Take the Singapore Chinese Cultural Centre, for example. Through this opera video, it helps make what could be a complex topic more relatable and engaging for seniors.
We also wanted to help the campaign reach out to seniors who speak and understand only Mandarin and dialects through our Chinese opera video and our Happy Sing Along afternoon concerts, which are in Mandarin and various dialects.
Application for a lasting power of attorney, or LPA, was made available online in November 2022.
This digital transformation improved accessibility both for donors and donees, and they are now able to draft and accept LPAs using their SingPass accounts. The integration with the health appointment system also brought greater transparency with ease in the booking of appointments with certificate issuers.
Since 2010 till the middle of last month, more than 350,000 Singaporeans have made their LPAs. Of these, close to 290,000 were submitted by those aged 50 and above. This exceeds the goal of having 240,000 LPAs for this age group by the end of this year. But at least one doctor says legacy planning isn't just a matter for seniors. The unexpected can strike loved ones at any time.
It is a gift of assurance, is because in the event that you unfortunately have lost your mental capacity, your family members have the powers, right? They have the legal powers to act and manage your matters, right? Be it your personal welfare, right? Your property or your finances, right? And that would actually save them a lot of trouble, both financially as well as emotionally.
The application fee for an LPA is waived for Singaporeans until end March next year. However, there is still a fee to engage a certificate issuer, usually a lawyer or a doctor registered with the Office of the Public Guardian.
All right, such an important topic. So we have more. We've got the Public Guardian, Rahayu Buang, as well as Sammy Leong from Case Manager at SATA CommHealth, and he works with legacy planning. Welcome to the both of you. Sammy, perhaps first to you. I bet you've heard a lot of very sad stories when it comes to this area of legacy planning, where people have lost their mental capacity without completing any plan in place.
Yes, indeed, I have. I've came across a couple in their 70s who wanted to downsize their flat after their children have grown up and married and moved out. So the man is facing health decline. So they wanted to downsize and managed to find a buyer. But before they could complete the sale, he had a severe stroke that left him bedridden and with no mental capacity. So the wife, because since they do not have an LPA, the wife has to seek court approval to be the deputy. But that will take at least a year, and before the court gets approval. So unfortunately, the buyer could not wait for that long. So the whole thing was held up.
Right. So on top of the emotional devastation, they also have this legal and financial problem to cope with. And, Rahayu, when you hear stories like this, you know now that you've got 350,000 people who have signed up for LPAs. Is that something that makes you happy, or it's a long way to go?
Well, it is something that made us happy because it has been quite a lot of increase compared to what we used to do. So with a lot more awareness, I think people are signing up for LPAs. But certainly there's more that needs to be done. And for those who are in the slightly younger age group. So we do see the awareness coming out from those who are in the 75 years old and above, because I guess it's at that age when they would probably have issues about mental capacity. But we really want to reach out to those who are younger. So certainly certainly there's a lot more that needs to be
Well,
done.
I would think that if the older people are coming to a realization, that would trickle down to the younger one because they're the ones that are going to be nominated, in that LPA.
Yeah.
So, aside from that organic transplant of information, how are you planning to increase the numbers by a lot, really?
Well, firstly, it's also because of awareness. We need to inform people that actually making an LPA is not just for the elderly, it is for those who are adults and with responsibilities as well. So you can be younger, you can have an accident, for example, not because of dementia and so on, but an accident or a stroke can also cause situations where you lose mental capacity.
I imagine, though, that sometimes people find it hard to receive information about planning around issues like death from family members. Who else can advocate? What are the other routes that people can take to increase their awareness?
Well, doctors is one such group that can actually really help give information on the usefulness of having an LPA, because they do see cases where the loss of mental capacity has really helped, has really made it very difficult for the family to cope. Another group would be lawyers. For those who would be making a will, making an LPA is also something that they should do together. Financial advisors, those who are insurance agents and in the financial sector, this becomes a part and parcel of the package in which we want to protect assets and we want to protect, a person who has such assets.
And Sammy, you would also be one of those advocates for such planning, wouldn't you? Tell us about your role and how people really get the wrong impression that care doesn't necessarily equate to caring for your family, doesn't equate to a good outcome, because you have financial regulations and legal requirements that often are obstacles.
Yes, exactly. So my role is that we work in partnership with My Legacy, and upon request to my company, I will give talks at various organizations, commercial organizations, religious organizations, and active aging centers, and to promote awareness of these three documents, namely LPA and the Advanced Care Plan and the Advanced Medical Directive, to tell them the difference and the advantage and disadvantage.
It all sounds very confusing.
Yes.
What would you prioritize?
Most important, do the LPA because it's a legal document, and then it, in tandem, we'll also encourage them to do the Advanced Care Plan.
Okay, so like I said earlier, people say, hey, my family cares for me, I don't need an LPA. But they're not thinking further enough down the road, are they?
If you do not make your preference known, put it in writing, and make known to not only your loved ones, as well as the medical team. So when it comes to a crisis, then when something happens, then the person making decisions for you may not know what you want, and making decisions based on their own thinking. That will affect both parties.
Okay. Now, I want to also ask, why is there a sort of a gap that exists when it comes to LPA and such, when people actually know they have to have a nominee for their CPF, they have to have a will, but why is there a gap between some of these preparations and not others?
I would say that because they think that currently it is not important, or they don't place the importance until something happens in their life.
So there has to be that kind of wake-up call, so to speak.
Yes.
So, Rahayu, speaking of this wake-up call, that call can come very early, right?
Yes,
I mean, you can be young.
Yes, certainly. So we
there's
have
an
to create that
urgency,
urgency, that sense of urgency in people, that we need to prepare for this. And we need to prepare while we are healthy and while we have the mental capacity to think about who is the best person that we should entrust this duty to in the event that we do lose mental capacity in future.
Yeah, so if I was young, starting out in life, what do I mentally sort of need to prepare for some of the milestones where I say, hey, maybe it's time?
Yeah. So I think when you are working already, it could be in a position of responsibility, looking after your dependents, for example, or your parents. And that's where if you are not able to, something happens to you and they're not able to access some of your assets, your bank accounts, for example, your insurance monies and so on, then it is also a financial burden on them to be able to manage your affairs. Because family members can manage personal welfare, for example, but they will have difficulty managing the personal affairs because unless they have that power of attorney, they cannot do those roles. So I think that's the reason why we need to have such, such LPAs done even when we are younger.
Right. I just have time for one last question. Both of you, just a word of advice to people out there who are considering this.
Well, for me, really is to do the LPA now. Of course, we have all the government support to do this. I mean, the LPA currently is free in terms of the processing fee until March next year. So this is the time to do it. And I think we have also made the process very simple through the online OpGo system. So it is really to facilitate people to take up and do it. Because after all, LPA is not just a one-time, one-time agreement that you make or deed that you make. If situations change in future, you can also still adjust accordingly. So,
briefly,
but any time is important.
Thank you. And briefly, Sammy?
Briefly, do your LPA, including an ACP advanced care plan, so that when you appoint someone legally to decide for you, it's best you make your preference known so that they make decision based on your preference and not what they think.
Absolutely.
And this will prevent disputes and guilt with family members.
I absolutely agree. And peace of mind, of course.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much. I've been speaking there with Public Guardian Rahayu Buang and Case Manager at SATA CommHealth, Sammy Leong. They've been speaking about that important topic of legacy planning.